Welcome back to Building the Burbs. My name is Howard. I do not have a co-host today, but I have an amazing guest, Anna Teal, with Teal Marketing. Thank you so much, Anna, for coming on. Tell the audience a little bit about Teal Marketing, what it does, and we can get right into it.
Yeah, so my name is Anna Teal, and I'm the owner of Teal Marketing, which is a concierge type of marketing firm.
Hmm.
And we specialize in just telling the stories of businesses, small and medium size, is basically our target market. And we love telling their story, listening to what makes them unique, and then, weaving that story through website development, social media management, anything that your brand touches online. We do branding as well. We do brand consulting. So if you're a new startup and you're looking for some guidance, we can help you in that area as well.
For sure.
We also do SEO and geo now, which is
Okay.
generative engine optimization.
Yeah,
So, AI search is such a thing.
for
It's a
sure.
topic of all the conversations now.
Yep.
AI comes up. So we are making sure we're on the forefront of that as well. But we are very high touch firm. So if you're looking for immense support, access, someone who will be a true partner with you, that's where we specialize in, and that's some of our strengths. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
So I know you mentioned storytelling. I was looking on your site, and when I did the research and stuff, like storytelling is very big core of your company. What kind of sparked you getting into like storytelling and marketing just in general?
Well, when Teal Marketing, like in the early days when I started it back in 2019,
Hmm.
um, it was originally kind of a copywriting business.
Okay.
And so I fell in love with storytelling then, and just really in my local community, because I learned by working with different people in my community, even places that I would frequently shop, never knew the story behind the
Right.
business that I was
Right.
frequenting. And some of them have really amazing stories.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with this concept of this, hidden,
Yeah.
um, thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
you just don't know. But I love that piece of it. I love writing people's stories because sometimes as a business owner, it can be hard to talk about yourself.
For
And
sure.
sometimes you don't want to talk about things because you feel like you're boasting
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you kind of downplay
You have to though.
yourself a little
Yeah.
bit. And so that's where it's nice to have someone to come in and say, hey, like, this is something you should be, focusing on or using as your differential advantage or, really playing up in your story because this can really appeal to your target audience. So that's kind of how that grew, like through, copywriting and
Hmm.
helping people tell their own stories in that way. We kind of evolved into a full fledged marketing firm that told stories more on a broad level. So I feel very blessed to have been able to grow it in that way. And it's
Yeah.
been an interesting journey. And I've met a ton of really awesome people with great stories
Yeah.
from that.
I bet. Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet. Um. So you have an MBA,
Hmm.
international marketing, and you have quite a bit of experience in the marketing field. Talk a little bit about that, and I guess how that has played a role as far as what you do now.
Yeah. I mean, marketing to me, I mean, I was in marketing when digital marketing was not even a thing.
Wow.
Like, I know I don't look that old, but I'm 41.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's young. That's not old.
So,
That is not old.
I've definitely seen the evolution over time of marketing and strategy from, more traditional aspects into, digital marketing as a whole
Yeah.
to like I was talking about SEO and geo, and it just becoming a complex monster that's constantly changing. But it's been uh, just a constant learning journey, and I've just learned to be okay with that
Yeah.
because you have to constantly learn and relearn in this industry. It's you have to be good with that. You have to be okay and you have to constantly stay on top of the news and the latest things to make sure that you're serving your clients well.
For sure. Um. And did you always know if that you wanted to eventually kind of start your own business one day or have a startup or um what was that like as far as like earlier?
It's funny. I always thought I wanted to start my own business.
Really?
And, but like a lot of other people out there who have the same thoughts, I had a lot of fear about it. I was like, what if I fail?
Yeah.
What if, all the what
The
ifs
what ifs, yep.
really kind of paralyze you and make you not move forward. But my story is just really unique in that I ended up starting my own business out of necessity and survival. So, and in a way, it was a kind of a weird blessing because I think if I had not been pushed to do that, I don't know what I would have.
Right.
But what I would tell people is to not be afraid of starting your own company.
For sure.
Yeah, you can talk yourself out of anything,
Yeah.
but if you just take that first step and you realize how you can do it and you have that confidence in yourself, it makes it easier to take the next one and the next one and the next one. And it's so empowering and it's such an enriching journey. This is why I've created two other businesses because
Yeah.
I'm like, it wasn't as hard as I thought. But again, I've been blessed to have a lot of really great people to help me and mentor me along the way. So I'm super thankful for that.
Now, kind of speaking in that, if you don't mind me going into it, 2018, your husband suffered a
Mhm.
stroke, and actually 2 days, I think 2 days after you got your marketing job or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, Talk a little bit about how that inspired you to create Teal Marketing. Well, I wouldn't say inspired, but necessity. Like, what made you want to go, okay, Teal Marketing kind of thing
Yeah.
out of that?
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. Like you said, in 2018, my husband had an ischemic stroke and totally flipped our world upside down. It was a
Yeah.
very, very scary time. Yeah, I was 2 days into a new job at Mohawk.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, I had a great job lined up. And
Yeah.
then this happened. And so it was very unexpected. He had a rare condition called Eagle syndrome, which
Okay.
caused a collapse of his carotid arteries. And
Yeah.
He's very lucky to be alive.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And but yeah, it like I said, it was a very scary time because I had to quit my job,
Yeah.
my new job, and they were very nice. They did everything they could for that specific situation.
For sure.
But then I ended up having to leave because I had to take care of my husband and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't really do that with a 9 to 5 job. So
Yeah.
I was, like I said, I think, I don't know if you're a believer in the big eye upstairs,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely. That's the only way.
God put a lot of really amazing friends and people in my life to kind of set the stage for me to create my own business. I worked for a friend who I knew at a previous job in her marketing firm, which I'm very thankful and blessed to have been working with her during that time. And then through
Okay.
that, I kind of built my clientele and my client base and formed my own business. So I kind of slowly built as I could because caregiving is
Yeah.
a full time job.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest jobs in my opinion,
Absolutely.
and you know um, it was a difficult journey. But like I said, I looking back, I don't know how I managed to do everything I did, but yeah,
God. Yeah.
again, I think it's God, and I'm very thankful for all the support that I had during that time to get me where I am today, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very passionate about giving back and
Absolutely.
doing things in the community to help other people because people fall on hard times,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that essentially led me to, hey, I got to get creative here.
Yeah.
I can sit and be sorry for myself for what happened, but I've got to get creative and I got to figure it out. And so that was one of my options. I feel like, hey, I have this amazing marketing resume. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with top brands,
Yeah.
like Martha Stewart.
Oh wow.
And I was like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can leverage my skill set and, make this happen. And thank God it did
Yeah.
because it's been a blessing to allow me to take care of my family, my husband, and to be able to serve in my community during these past like 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
believe it's been that long, but
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Now starting your own business in general is hard within itself, right? So talk a little bit about how you were able to be a caregiver, but also bring Teal Marketing from the ground up, you know?
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
And I just did it like bite-sized pieces. I
Mhm.
just took it slow and gradually just I built the logo, worked with a friend. The next day I would take another little step. I would create some marketing materials, create the website. I would just take it piece by piece as slow as I could to kind of build it into my schedule. And, those little small steps worked out along the way. And
Yeah.
then, before I knew it, I was able to launch. And so, that's another thing too. I know sometimes entrepreneurs can get really overwhelmed with the overall scope of like building a business and
Mhm.
you're like, oh God, where do I start? But if you can find ways to take those bite sized, those small steps every day or allocate time to develop your business or work on your business, that's kind of what helped me kind of get to that point.
For sure.
Hmm.
Chop wood, carry water.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, so and it sounds like you had a very good support group as well, kind of around you to kind of help you just manage everything. So I know you kind of talk a little bit about how you were at a firm and you had some clients there. So were they your clients specifically or the firm's clients? And how did that kind of transfer into Till Marketing getting its first clients?
Yeah, so it was actually their clients, and I got to a point where, um, my husband's business helped us out a little bit, but
Okay.
their support was about to go away. Right?
Okay.
They could only support us for so long, which
Hmm.
I'm thankful for the support that we had for a couple of years, and so I needed a way to make more money, essentially, because
Hmm.
I mean, I was it. I
Yeah.
had to support us both
Yeah.
and keep the lights on, keep things going. And so it's a lot of pressure.
For sure.
And so, I had to have a difficult conversation with them and say, hey, like, I want to keep you on as client. I love working on with you. Would you be okay if I did this? And I was very transparent with that process. And they kind of gave me their blessing and was like, sure. And then that's when I kind of started a copywriting business.
Okay.
And so it started out like that. And then I would write for them, do various things for them, but then I was free to take on other clients. And I was very thankful for that because it just really allowed me a nice transition
Yeah.
process. It wasn't like cut and dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Okay.
able to really, and I worked with them for a long time and,
Okay.
they're now a great, partner. And in years back, I mean, we would refer business to one another and it's just been a very nice relationship. So,
Real good
I
transition there.
support them, they support me, and
Yeah.
it's nice. So, I've always tried to keep that relationship in good standing because I appreciate everything they did for me early
For
on.
sure. For sure.
So,
And so, I guess what are some examples of like how you incorporate storytelling into a client's business?
it starts with when we take a client on, we always have like a brainstorming session with them and we listen to what they have to say. We ask them specific questions. We have a certain process, like onboarding process and brainstorming process with certain questions that we will ask. That relates to their story that
Hmm.
kind of pull that information out of them.
Right.
So it's very strategic and to try to get their stories and those little nuggets that may point to developing a unique story. So, like, we'll ask certain things about what differentiates them from their competition. We'll ask them for their names of their competition. We'll do research to see where are they ranking at online, what keywords are they using, what stories are they telling, and
Hmm.
then we kind of identify the gaps there to say, okay, here's where you would fit in that competitive landscape, and here's where your story kind of stands out, and this is where we would recommend you play.
Got you.
So it's kind of like a puzzle piece you just
Yeah.
kind of put
Yeah.
together for them, and help them kind of define, their position in their market because surprisingly, some companies they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have their strategy, they have their brand, but they don't know where they play. And sometimes knowing that kind of landscape can really help you get a competitive
Yeah.
edge, especially when it
Change
comes
everything.
to, yeah, when it comes to your branding and when it comes to SEO and geo and all these things, like that's really important, especially nowadays and going forward. You have to stand out in that way. Yeah.
100%. 100%. And so what would you say is like what business would Till Marketing be ideal for?
We work with a lot of law firms. We work with franchises. We are very good with that. That's kind of
Okay.
our model. We love working with franchises, but we do work with local startups too, because that's where I
Yeah.
love the,
Yeah.
kind
For
of
sure.
helping seeing them, because it's like, oh, you see that fruit.
Yeah.
So you plant that seed and you see them grow, and it's just really rewarding in that way,
Hmm.
to just help them and work them through the process to just get where they
Yeah.
really want to be. So I still love to play in that space, but we do have our strong points. Like I said, we will take on anybody. We don't have a specific niche,
Got you.
um, but yeah, we seem to have a lot of like law firms and franchises and things like that. But yeah, we will work with anybody.
Okay.
we're
Got you.
not we're not picky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick short break. Then we'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by Hatchbridge Incubator. Hatchbridge Incubator is a partnership between Kennesaw State University and the Cobb Chamber of Commerce. We offer entrepreneurs the programs, the support, and the accountability that they need to build their businesses. We have programs and we have facilities for them to use. So our new facility will launch off of Chastain Road in the summer of 2025. We'll have 9 private offices for companies. We'll also have dedicated hot desk space for them to work at, and we'll have an event facility there as well. Learn more at hatchbridge.com.
We are back with Anna and Teal Marketing. So concierge, right?
Yeah.
What is that? And how do you apply that in Teal Marketing?
Yeah. So, really, one of our differential advantages that we've kind of evolved into that we never really talked about, which is one of the reasons why we rebranded earlier this year,
Mm-hmm.
is we've always had a very high touch level of service in a marketplace where traditionally a lot of marketing firms are very like turn and burn, like
For
with their
sure.
clients. And we've had some people come to us and say, hey, like, we really just need someone that we can call and talk to, like a true partner, and not feel like a number,
Yeah.
But I mean, those marketing agencies do have a clientele that they can service. Those people who really don't need, they just need their services. They
Yeah.
don't really need that kind of relationship, which is totally fine. But we found, that we do a really good job at treating our clients like family. Like, I have clients that they text me, they call me, I'm really responsive. We're there for them, whatever they need.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have really good relationships with them. And I love that. I mean, we don't have like, we have a great clientele. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have anybody that's like a jerk.
Yeah.
So I feel very blessed in that respect,
Yeah.
because that's kind of how we roll. And, so, yeah, so going back from, when Teal Marketing was kind of birthed
Mm-hmm.
back in 2019, it was kind of a copywriting business, and our logo and everything kind of spoke to that. It was very editorial.
Mm-hmm.
And so over the years, I was like, you know what, like, we've kind of evolved into something different, and I think I need to rebrand. So we didn't change the name, but we changed the look and feel to be more elevated.
Got you.
And so in January of this year, we just did a total like overhaul, because we want to focus on high touch, really like elevated service, great customer service, and expertise. So
Mm-hmm.
we know things other marketing firms don't, and we're
Right.
good at things that other marketing firms aren't.
Right.
So, and we have that rapport with our clients where they trust us, we trust them, and it's a great experience all the way around. So that's
Yeah.
kind of our strong point.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And you mentioned it earlier, about AI, right?
Mm.
So, what is your thoughts on AI and as far as marketing is
Mm.
concerned?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Our positioning on AI has been that we use it internally for inspiration or
Mm,
ideas, but when it comes to developing content verbatim, we try to stay away from that. And one of our strategies, especially for next year, is to play up the fact that we are very human. We're a
right.
human firm. Because I believe, and I hope I'm right,
Yeah.
but I believe that creativity is going to be a commodity
Absolutely. Yeah.
as AI becomes more prevalent. And I really want our firm to stand out, and for businesses who are looking for human, brainstorming, human interaction, human thought process, human creativity, they can come to us,
For sure.
because I think that's going to help businesses stand out in the sea of sameness.
Mhm.
If everyone's using AI,
Yeah.
everyone's going
Yeah.
to look and sound similar. And so I think if you're a business that wants to stand out, which I hope they do, I hope
Yeah.
they want to stand out, then we would be that partner for them,
Absolutely.
because, yeah, I just see that being a huge buzzkill.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of
Coming,
already kind of is.
it is, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I can't totally diss it, because it is good in other areas.
For sure.
Like, it is helpful in other areas of business, and I'm grateful for those ways, because it can help streamline and increase efficiencies and things
Definitely.
like that. But when it comes to creativity, that's when I become a little bit overly critical.
Yeah. And it's because it's like AI is only outputting information that has been given. So it can't really
hmm
create new information or new things, So
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So I saw that you were honored as Cherokee County's top 10 and 10 young professionals,
hmm
and you just recently made the Super 6 and Best Self Atlanta's 2025 over 40. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, what do those recognitions mean to you personally for your business, and impact that you're making?
It's funny. I just did a social media post today, because I was reflecting on that very thing and
Oh,
thinking how blessed I was to have people who supported me through those processes and believed in me for those awards.
for sure.
And what has been most impactful, and the kind of crazy thing through those experiences, I've gotten to meet so many other, like, women and men who have similar stories as mine. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, I find a lot of comfort in that, because I've been through a lot, like,
Yeah.
in my personal life,
Yeah.
that, I've come out of, and I've come out on the other side, thank God, with the
Yeah.
grace of God. Like, I can't
Absolutely.
take credit for anything, but, you know, I see these other people who have also been through hell and back, and they have turned their pain into purpose. And I feel so blessed to be in a room with people who are so strong and so supportive in that way. And I think it's easy with some of these recognitions. People are like, oh, whatever, they're just, it's just a bunch of, you know, overachievers, or, some people can be really critical of
Yeah.
that. And I
Yeah.
think it's important to take a step back and say, you know what, like, behind those smiles and behind the glitz and glam of all
Yeah.
of those things, there's real stories there for real people who have been through a lot, and they and despite of their past and what
Yeah.
they've gone through, they have done amazing things.
Amazing.
And
Yeah.
to me, that's so empowering, and it's such an inspiration to me. Like, as I go forward, just knowing that there are other people that are strong and have gone through just similar journeys. I
Absolutely.
just find, like, that kind of community is so important. And it's just nice to to have access to that.
For sure.
hmm
And not we really only hear about the stories of people who have made it out, kind of thing, versus not everybody. I think sometimes we don't really take into consideration that not everybody makes it through it, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely is a feat to be able to make it out and then make something out of it, kind of thing.
Exactly. And it's a testament. And that's why I feel it's important to share those stories behind those individuals, which I think Best Self Atlanta has done a great job of sharing, like, tidbits of all of our stories.
For sure.
Because it talks to, if you're having a hard time, and if you are just, like, in the valley right now, it's not going to be that way forever. And things can turn around,
Yep.
and things can happen, good things. And so for me, like, I don't want to start crying, but, like,
Yeah,
for
you
me,
good.
it's
You
just
good.
like, that's so impactful to see that and to have that hope, because
Absolutely.
hope is everything. If you lose hope in yourself, in your life, in your family, like that's a really dark place to be in.
For sure.
And it's important to hear stories and to see these people doing these things because it helps you. Because it's like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And if I can help be an inspiration or to help anybody in that valley, like my door is always open.
Absolutely.
So because I have a heart for people going through difficult situations, whether it's dealing with trauma, caregiving for a loved one, I mean, whatever that may be. I've been there. I've been in that valley. Like I can help you get out of it,
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where like my passion lies. I love to help other people, who are just going through hard stuff,
Yeah.
going through hard things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in addition to Teal Marketing, right, you
Mhm.
have aphasia readers.
Mhm.
Talk a bit about that, and what kind of inspires you to start that.
Yeah. So, when my husband had a stroke, he also, part of that, he got aphasia.
Mhm.
So, statistically, 1 in 3 people who have a stroke end up having aphasia, which is a speak and language disorder. It can affect your comprehension sometimes. In this case, with my husband, it affected his comprehension. It can affect your reading and your writing skills. It just depends on what area of the brain the stroke
For sure.
affects. But in his case, especially early on, we were very blessed to be at the Shepherd Center.
Okay.
So he did a lot of his recovery like in the hospital and then in their outpatient program. And they are just, I can't say enough good things about them. They're great. But then once he was discharged from there, they don't give you like a plan. It's
Yeah.
just like, you're done. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And so then it's like, you have to take it upon yourself. You're like, okay, you can't just stop therapy. He still needs therapy. I mean, stroke recovery and that kind of recovery is very slow, but
Absolutely.
you have to keep doing it, like repetition and like the therapy is very important
Hmm.
for long-term goals to get to us,
For sure.
where
Yep.
you want to be. So in Ryan's case, we were doing speech therapy, OT, PT, like all of the therapies.
Hmm.
So we were in the road a lot. But then like when we get home, like for him, it was very important for him to work on his speech. And so he neurofatigue wasn't really a thing with him. So
Okay.
like he didn't get tired, but he wanted to work on his speech. So we had talked to our neurologist and even some friends in the speech therapy spaces. And they're like, oh, well, read children's books. Well, wow, that can be kind of demeaning if you're an
Yeah.
adult and
Yeah.
you're like, the topics aren't really relevant. And in the speech and language world, they talk about functional phrases. So that means, saying phrases that are useful and helpful and advocating for yourself every day. Because you think if you lose your language and you lose your speech, you have to relearn that all over. That's a
Mm.
lot to
Yeah.
relearn. So they start with functional phrases. And so we would read these children's books, like sight readers books, and we're like, God, this is such a bummer,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
adult reading about toys and going
Yeah.
and visiting grandma's house or,
Yeah.
like it's just kind of weird. But,
Yeah.
Ryan was a good sport. He would kind of do it and practice and practice. But then he went to the University of Michigan aphasia
Okay.
program, which is an intensive therapy program that he did that for a month. And so we essentially had to move there. And
Wow.
we ran the idea across them. We're like, hey, like these sight readers are great. And they were, supported by a neurologist, but we just really wanted something adult. Like, would you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
be interested in working together to develop something like this? We wanted them to do it.
Hmm.
And they were like, well, that's a great idea, but no.
We're not-
They're like, we don't have the resources. And
yeah.
I was
Great idea, but
like,
we're not gonna do it.
well, okay then.
Yeah.
But after a lot of thought and prayer, we just decided that this is something that needed to be done and we were going to find a way to make it happen. And so, we got put in contact with a great publisher who's been a great partner with us that helped us, develop the books and put them together and write them. We had the SLPs at University of Michigan work with us to help write it and supervise to make sure everything was clinically okay.
Yeah.
And they were awesome. So at least if they weren't going to do them, they,
Yeah.
consulted with us on it. So I was very grateful for that. And
sure.
then we had people come out of the WordWorks to help us fund this
Awesome.
project.
Awesome.
So we got 3 books funded
Wow.
and they're, beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Mhm.
And so it depends on where you are in your recovery journey. You can read different types of, we call them sessions or themes.
Okay.
For example, one is, common conversations, simple sentences that you would use if you're having coffee with your spouse or loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read it as a dialogue, like back and forth with someone, or you can read it alone.
Okay.
So it's very flexible in that way. And then there's like 8 different pages to each session, and there's 5 to 6 sessions in each book.
Okay.
So it's flexible. So if you have neurofatigue, you can read maybe 1 session a day, or if you're feeling frisky and you want to read more than that, you can do that. So
For sure.
it's a very thoughtful tool. We had a spiral bound structure because if you have a stroke and you have a weaker right side, we want it to be able to lay flat. So we really paid attention to all the details in developing this because we were living it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate for the best resources come out of people who have been there and are dealing with that pain
Absolutely.
point, right?
Absolutely.
So we were able to really make that a great tool, and we get a lot of good feedback on it.
I bet. Yeah.
And then we also have a lot of free resources on our website that you can download and print. One of our most popular resources is called Fridge. It's a mouthful. Fridge functional phrases.
Yeah.
So they're printables that you can print out. They're ink friendly, and you put them on your fridge. And they were designed for specific social situations because, as you can imagine, if you can't speak, it can be very lonely in
Yeah,
social
for sure.
situations. So, like if you're getting ready for a wedding or a birthday party, so they're really short, concise phrases that you can practice beforehand to make that social situation feel less lonely.
Awesome.
Because it's hard. Like
Yeah.
it's people don't really talk about it a lot, but that condition can be very lonely and isolating, and it can be lonely for the caregiver too.
Absolutely.
So it's a very
Absolutely.
hard journey, but we felt like this was a tool that would help with that. And we get thousands of downloads a month from the website on people who
Wow.
love those, and a lot of speech language pathologists, they love them too. So we're always taking new ideas.
That's amazing.
If people have them, we'll work up a worksheet for them
Yeah.
if they have an idea. So
Yeah. That is
yeah.
so amazing. That's so amazing. So and also Care by Design,
Mhm.
right? So talk a bit about that. In your addition to your
No,
other
right? I've been
your
busy.
other companies, yeah.
Yeah, so that's totally different
Okay.
than any of my other businesses. It's kind of crazy how I get sucked into these things, but this was
Hey.
not my idea. This was an idea that my mother and I had
Okay.
in conjunction. So hopefully at some point she will be on board with
Yeah.
me. But the Carry by Design was birthed out of a desire or need for women who carry firearms, and kind of the market of purses out there that are very kind of frumpy, very Western looking. And,
Mhm.
as a woman who I carry for various reasons,
Right.
but, that's another story. Every woman who carries has a story. But that was kind of birthed out of that because women, we love our designer purses. We love to be fashionable.
For
And
sure.
I feel like there was a gap in that market. And I was like, you know what? We know all the right people. Why don't we just develop a bag? And
Yeah.
so we developed a patent pending pocket design for the firearm. And it's actually safer than some of the other purses out there because the barrel is pointed down. It's not like to the
Yeah.
side like
Yeah.
most of them are. And it's very inconspicuous. Like it doesn't look like a carry bag. So
Okay.
if you know like what concealed carry bags look like,
Mhm.
you know,
Okay.
like you can spot one pretty easy.
Yeah.
And so our thought was we want to come up with something that you don't know. Like it
Mhm.
looks like just a regular
Bag.
like
Yeah.
bag,
Just, yeah.
really chic, high-end bag. So, and has quality materials. And so, so I started out in Launchpad, and because I was like, this is a product thing. And
Yeah.
I'm learning this from like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
For sure.
And so I found tremendous value in the Launchpad program. And they were great. They gave me a lot of great tools to kind of get this off the ground. And then it kind of transitioned into Hatchbridge, and that's what brought me here.
Yeah.
And I've just found like Graham is such a wonderful mentor. Everybody here is just amazing. And I've just found a great sense of community. And I just joke with him. It's like almost like a therapist. It's like a business therapist. Like he's there with you with the ups and the downs. And
Yeah.
it's just great to have someone who gets it and who knows, because I'm
For
like,
sure.
your family can only take so much. And they're like, just don't talk to me about your
Yeah,
businesses
yeah.
anymore. So it's nice to have other people who like just get it.
Yeah.
But they've been great with helping me develop the bag and source the bag. I've met it's just all come together kind of
Yeah.
under this umbrella, but it's been a great journey, and we're taking pre-orders now on the bag. It's a little bit higher price point because it is a custom leather.
For sure.
And it is real leather. So it's taken from the premium part of the cow. It's a real cowhide leather.
Okay.
So it's very durable, long lasting. It's kind of think of it as an investment, and
Yeah.
it's a different, carry pocket. It's a different component. Like it's different experience. And so that's kind of what we're going for.
Okay.
It's just a really like elevated look and feel and elevated function.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I might have to give my mom one for Christmas or something.
There you go.
So I see that you serve on the Cherokee Chamber of Commerce Council, and the Cherokee Cyber Commission. How was engaging with your community influenced you as a founder, or just even contributed to the growth of your businesses?
Oh yeah. I sound like a lunatic. I have too many businesses. The Cherokee Chamber has played a huge part in my business, especially with Teal Marketing early on, because I've been a member for, like 6 years now.
Okay.
So, and this is my second year on the board, and I have found tremendous support, not only professionally with them, but also personally, just because of my journey, like caregiving for someone who can't speak. I really craved conversation, and I needed that interaction. And for that reason, like essentially being involved in that community kind of saved my life and gave me a good social component so I could have a nicer balance and I can interact with people a little bit better. So in that way, and it's again amazing because their community, the Cherokee Chamber, I don't know how they do it, but everybody is super wonderful and nice, and there's no jerks. There's just amazing people.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
It's hard to find
I don't
that.
know how they do it,
Yeah.
but it's just a wonderful group of people. I can't say enough good things about them. Pam Carnes is amazing. I don't know how she does it. She's a superwoman. But yeah, I love everybody there. Very supportive. They do amazing things for businesses. They have amazing programs like the Leadership Cherokee program, which I'm an alumni of.
Okay.
And if you're ever thinking about maybe going through a leadership program, I highly recommend that. You will come away with amazing experience. You'll learn more about yourself and about others than you probably ever would want to know. But it's a great program. But yeah, they have teen leadership as well. So with kids, it's just an amazing experience. It sets them up for success. So they have great networking events too. So highly recommend becoming a member and being active with any local chamber. But I'm very I love our Cherokee Chamber.
Yeah.
I don't think all chambers are like that, so I can't speak to any, of the other counties, but for ours, it's definitely like 5 stars. Definitely recommend.
How Cherokee?
Yes.
So what's next for you, just in general as a founder with Teal Marketing, and your other businesses?
Yeah. Well, I hope to keep growing Teal Marketing and keep surviving AI. Who knows what will happen. I think a lot of people are wondering, like, what are we looking at in the next 5 years? So we don't know, but, I really want to grow that piece of the business. I want to be, like I said, get Carry by Design off the ground and get some orders and get our influencer program started. So, that's exciting to me to be able to work on something kind of different. And then of course, aphasia readers, just continue to spread awareness through stroke, events. We'll go and speak at different events, different hospitals. Sometimes they'll have stroke awareness events. So they'll call us and want us to come out and share about aphasia readers.
Okay.
And just, share our resources, try to help people through that philanthropic. That's kind of my feel good project. So just growing that and helping as many people as we can
for sure
in that venture. Yeah.
And where can people learn more about aphasia readers or Career by Design or Teal Marketing?
Oh, it's like, let me rattle off the URLs. It's our Teal Marketing website is tealmarketingllc.com if you want to learn more about our services there. And then Carry by Design. So it's KARRYBY design.
Okay. I like that.
.com. Yeah, it's spelled a little differently. And then for aphasia readers, it's aphasia, so APHASIA readers.com. I feel like I'm in a spelling contest. And then of course you can find us on social media with any of those names.
Sure.
We're pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.
awesome. Thank you.